One down, three to go, Tom.
Yes, I know. And, it's going to be pretty wild. Breeze and Brady, man. I mean, that's going to be quite a game. And
it should be a great game.
Yeah.
And if you can manage to get through that, then you're probably looking at the Chiefs.
Yes.
So,
Mahomes. Oh, my God. Yeah. I love that guy. I love Brady, but I've always loved Mahomes. I mean, as soon as he was out, I says, that's the new Brady, man. I says, that kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, and we really have had a good crop of quarterbacks.
Yes.
That are out there playing. So it's been fun to watch for sure. And there must be a lot of high energy in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a ton of excitement over there. So I'm looking forward to next. I think it's the late game next Sunday.
Yes.
So it should be a nice. Futures will kick off, and then we'll watch the football and see what happens.
Exactly.
So what I thought we'd do, just a quick update here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but just a quick update here with regard to where we're at in the markets, what we're looking at, or what we typically look at. And so you and I, we've looked at this seasonal cycle chart here, and typically the Dow. This is from the last 86 years for the Dow, and typically the Dow forms a top in the first week of January and then takes about a 3-week vacation and moves down into the end of January. Now, we don't use these dates that show up on this chart here, folks, as exact time frames, just to understand the typical seasonal cycle that we're in. So if we apply that seasonal cycle to current charts, this is a chart for the Dow Jones Cash Index. It was snapped probably about an hour ago. So the price in today's bar is going to be off just a tad. But the important thing to know here is one of the patterns that I use inside the newsletter when I do the show is called the TD9 count. The TD9 count helps us to identify potential tops and bottoms, as well as provides us with some breakout and breakdown support or resistance levels. Here on this weekly time frame chart, last week was bar number 9 of a TD9 count. What we can see here is patterns tend to repeat on charts. The last time the weekly chart for the Dow had a TD9 count, we saw a 1, 2, 3 week move low. Really, it's more than that. We didn't see the bottom until the end of October. So it was more like about a 7, 8 week, 9 week move to the downside. Whether that's what we have this time or not, well, we should anticipate at least as a move back to about the 30,402 area. That's this green line that is on my chart here. But what I want folks to understand is we've got a valid topping pattern. It's a valid topping pattern that in the past has identified a top out there. So an important reason to pay attention. Now, the daily time frame for the Dow equity future contract. So I've gone from the cash indice over to the YM. This has the potential to generate a confirmed Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. RMI is what that stands for. And if we get a close, I would say about a close below 30,008.40. I don't have the exact numbers. I'm just kind of ballparking it here. That would generate a signal that price should continue to pull back further. That's based upon this chart. The good thing is I've got some additional information that we want to take a look at and an exact number to watch. But on the daily time frame, what I want folks to understand is that the Dow may, depending on its close today, may generate a confirmed topping signal for its daily time frame. So all this is flowing right into the typical seasonal pattern that we have inside the Dow. Now, here's an additional piece of information. Let's take a look at the Dow equity future contract. This is the daily time frame. The green lines on this chart here, Tom, represent the bottom of the daily profiles. And what folks will notice is that at 35.92, and that's a real key number to be watching, that is the bottom of a new profile that is attempting to form. Now, I say attempting to form because I have this, like what I call this advanced Doppler tool, Tom. It gives me information about profiles as they're beginning to form. They don't always take hold, but I'll know this evening, probably at 6:01, whether or not this one holds. It looks to me like it will, based upon the way the price has been trading today. If it does, folks, what I want you to watch overnight, if you start to see the Dow equity future contract trade below 35.92, and that's assuming that this profile takes hold, that's a signal of a change in trend. So everything kind of really feeding right in. We want the market to prove itself to us. And so a close below the bottom of that profile is really important. The other instrument that we should be watching is the spot volatility index. And I don't know where it's at just right at this moment, but when I snapped this photo, probably about 30 minutes ago or so, the spot volatility index was trading above its 50-day exponential moving average. That was priced at 2410. It should be somewhere in that area. When the spot volatility index trades above, closes above, really, the 50-day exponential moving average, that is troublesome. When I say troublesome, folks, all you have to do is take a look at the price behavior of the S&P 500. That is the top portion of the screen. And then line that up with the bottom portion, which is the spot volatility index and its 50-day exponential moving average. That's the red line. What I've done for folks is put in yellow and green boxes, rectangles, to show you the typical price behavior of how the S&P behaves when the spot volatility index is either above or below the 50-day exponential moving average. So we want to watch that 2410-ish area coming into today's close. But when I also took this snapshot, the spot volatility index also had a one-day rate of change above 10%. Spot volatility index, Tom, a really great tool when you learn some of these unique aspects about it that can be applied to our everyday trading.
Yes.
And when the spot volatility index has a rate of change above plus 10%, those line up with the different blue arrows on my screen. That tends to generate a bounce or bottom in the market, in the S&P 500 the following day. Now, what you would look for in overnight action, the S&P hasn't really sold off that much. I mean, but what I want folks to understand is you wouldn't want to. Here's the real takeaway message. Oftentimes what I find is when the markets are having a really bad day, folks will finally jump on the short train at the end of the trading session. Before they do that, go take a look at the spot volatility index. If it has a rate of change above 10% out there, that's not a good move. Just do the work yourself. Go back, take a look at this chart, apply this tool, and you'll see why I just made that statement. The other issue that the ES Mini has, so I've kind of moved from the Dow over to the S&P, is even if the spot volatility index does close above its 50-day exponential moving average, price is still above the top of its daily profile, which is a bullish message out here. So it's even for Stevie, it's a bit confusing with regard to what the messages of the markets are. I'll go back to the Dow and watch that Dow bottom of its daily profile. Here is the S&P 500, or the ES Mini, I should say. You can see the bottom of its daily profile is way away from where price is trading. Price would have to close below 36.63 to generate a change in trend signal. So, folks, I say focus on the Dow. We've got this seasonal pattern right here that is in play, and we should anticipate, we should expect for price to continue to move lower through the end of the month. So that's what I'm seeing when I take a look at the charts, Tom.
And folks, okay, if you ever trade Bitcoin, if you know anyone that trades Bitcoin, you better go back and listen to Steve's show on Friday, okay? The TD9 count, bottom line, I'm in my car, man. This is it. This is real, man. And guess what? It's out there.
Yes.
Steve's saying TD9 count, 41,000 on Friday, 1:15 p.m., folks. Go do it. Great call, Steve.
Thank you, Tom.
That was amazing, man. Gotta love it. Get over to TFNN, folks. Mastering Probability. Have a great one, Steve. Have a safe one.
You too, Tom.
Stay right there, folks.